in, loud and proud. Picture all the little strings of behaving themselves. Just as I was saying, idiots and jackwags abound all over the place, including the Supreme Court of these United States. But first off, Southern Fried MAGA, our thoughts and prayers to all those that lived through the storms. I mentioned it last stream, not meeting, stream, if I get my thoughts right. 21 dead, fellow Americans. God bless their families as they go through this tragedy together. Lives change forever. We talk about that a lot. I've worked in safety a lot in my life. We talk about bad decisions that can, yes, Miss Jenna, prayers for them. We talk about those people that make bad decisions that changes their lives forever. An injury. And lives have been changed forever. Southern Kentucky, at least 20 people dead as weather ripped through that area of the country. London Mayor Randall tells WKYT the number of confirmed deaths is just Laurel County is now up to at least 20. We also know that at least one death has been confirmed in neighboring Pulaski County. Governor Andy Beshear says he will travel to Laurel County on Saturday to survey the damage. Press conference today at 5 p.m. I think that's Eastern Standard Time. Not sure, that could be Central at 5 p.m. if you want to catch that and keep up with what's going on with these deadly storms. You know, we go to bed at night and we hope, some people can't sleep during the storm. I don't sleep good if there's a storm or if people are away at work or not at home, or like my wife in the hospital. I don't really sleep good. The house doesn't feel right. Things feel out of kilter. It's not good. I can't handle that. I have to have, everything has to be back to normal, and it doesn't feel that way in these cases. But our hearts do go out to these folks. I mean, we've had some bad storms in our area before, and your home is gone. Personal possessions gone. Things you can't replace, like pictures. It's like a fire. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. President Trump, kicking butt, taking names today. He's torching the Supreme Court. I don't blame him. He tells them, quote, criminals will flood in. This ruling came down. They always do it on a Friday, right? Always do it on a Friday. Seems like. Then they go to the weekend. Or they make a Saturday decision. It blasted the Supreme Court after its recent ruling limiting the use of the AEA, the Alien Enemies Act, calling the decision a dangerous step that weakens national security. I cannot believe we're arguing over illegals that need to be jackbooted out of this country. Are you kidding me? Come on, Supreme Court. Minus, yes, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. The rest of you, really? You got to make them go through a judicial process for each and every case? Are you stupid or what? I'm sorry. I don't even feel like saying it easy this morning. I know that's not very professional. I don't care today. We don't need these people here. These people have committed crimes. Some of these are, many of these are gang members that they're jackbooting out of here, and they're crying over it. Our Supreme Court gives them a support, at least sends it back to the lower court. He warned that the ruling paves way for more criminals to flood in to the United States unchecked. His criticism reflects the growing frustration among all conservatives, me included. We see the court's decisions as yet another example of unelected judges putting ideology over public safety and national sovereignty. I mean, can we just be America? Can we just stand up and say enough is enough? Let's get rid of these people. They don't belong here. It's a 7-2 decision. Really? Comey, Kavanaugh, Roberts, not surprised there. Where are y'all at? They approved a request from the Venezuelan nationals. Venezuelan nationals getting the support from the United States Supreme Court for an injunction to prevent the removal from the United States under the AEA. They contend that the Trump administration failed to provide the detainees with sufficient time or proper resources to contest their deportations. They're illegals. They don't get proper time. They don't get resources. Out. Can you imagine calling the police? Someone's invaded my home. I need you to come get them out. Well, we're going to have to hold on that. You've got to give them proper resources and time to defend themselves in this matter. I mean, you say it's your house, but, they have rights, and we've got to make sure that your house is not just your house. It could be their house. We don't know that. Well, I'll take care of it, sir. I understand there's points in law. I get it. Even illegals have certain rights, which we need to look at that too, by the way. Can we just not look at that? A review. But in this right here, these people have caused crimes. These are not the ones who came over with the families and they're sitting around saying they want to be American citizens. These are just people coming in to mayhem and commit crime and take. And he says it's harder to quickly deport dangerous illegal immigrants such as murderers, drug dealers, and gang members. He argued the ruling forces the government to go through a lengthy legal process for each individual. Can you talk about bogging down a court? These people get a free pass while they're waiting. It's the same crap that the Biden administration, they were giving them, slips of paper. You'll go to court in 7 years. Really? What's the problem? How many of those do you think was going to check back in? Good gosh. Says that could take years. Sure could. They could commit more crimes, and while they're waiting, sure could. Come on. He warns the decision will lead to more illegal immigrants entering the U.S. and endangering American communities. Well, yeah. Oh, they can't get rid of us right away. We'll get a foothold. We'll have some kids. There goes your birthright citizenship. We'll just get together and have some kids and claim the kid is our reason to stay. You see how this all works together? He said, quote, the Supreme Court has ruled that the worst murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and even those who are mentally insane who came into our country illegally are not allowed to be forced out without going through a long, protracted, and expensive legal process. One that will take possibly many years for each person, and one that will allow these people to commit many crimes before they even see the inside of a courthouse, Trump said on Truth Social. I agree, Mr. President. I agree. He said the decision would cause chaos and argued that the ruling blocked him from fulfilling his duty to protect the country. Yes, sir. Absolutely, Commander-in-Chief. That is your job. The federal government has very little, according to the Constitution, there's very little that the federal government is really responsible for. A lot of things need to be unloaded. That's what the president's trying to do. One of those, the biggest one, is defense of the nation. Defense of the nation. They're stopping him from doing his job. I mean, that's just, there's no way we can vet all these people in a timely manner now. And yes, the American taxpayer, you will be paid for not only the continued housing, feeding, medical care, and yes, the court cost associated with each of these cases from people who came across the border illegally. And the U.S. Supreme Court says, blank you, Americans. Blank you. That's what they're saying. We're not going to let you get rid of them that way. We're not going to let you process them out very quickly. We got to give them plenty of time. That's what they've said. I'm so disappointed in this court. Roberts, we've always known was a flip flopper. He's the reason we have, the Affordable Health Care Act and other decisions. Well, everybody prays. It's Amy, Coney Barrett, Kavanaugh. I stood with them. We didn't like how they were done. Yes, they were treated very badly in that confirmation hearing process, especially Justice Kavanaugh. But what in the world are they thinking about? I don't care how old this act is. It's still legal. It's absolutely legal to do it. Our country is sick. It really is sick. I don't blame him for. I do not blame him for being very upset. There's also a calling for a review of who had the auto pin for former President Biden. We talked about that last night. How incapacitated he was, the lunacy of it. One former official said it was, Greg Gutfield said it made Watergate look like a parking ticket. How bad this is. What was he signing, what he didn't sign? Well, they're calling for some reform. And yeah, there needs to be an investigation as well. But here we had, just brain incapacitation, no decision making, people running the orders, the scene from the behind the curtain, pushing out grandpa, who doesn't know where he's at half the time, read prepared statements, doesn't know how to answer questions, gets off key, gets lost, all those things, but signing the heck out of documents, pardons, and executive orders right up to the very end, baby. No reversal. Where's the Supreme Court in that matter? Where were they at then? Why didn't lawmakers do their duty en masse? I mean, they had someone they could put in. I know they didn't like her, but she still was there. And they allowed this to go, and for him to run again. So we're seeing things like that. And one must repeat, even though we said it last night, the violent lunatic, calling for violent lunatic, James Comey, who has since deleted his post and said, I didn't know that those numbers meant violence. Well, you're either the biggest idiot ever in the world or you're a liar. And I tend to go with the second, the latter. He's a liar. Strong talk this morning. I don't care. You just don't call him out that hard. I try to go middle of the road. I try to, I am conservative, and I try to get both sides here. I try to be balanced. Sometimes you just got to call it for what it is. And these people are idiots. He's an idiot. He knows what he was doing. The president has had 2 attempts on his life already. And there are many people on the left who have been openly calling and encouraging attacks. This is a long line of others. It is the most graphic, though, of those that I've heard. He has been questioned by the Secret Service, brought in for that questioning, and so we'll see what happens to that. But he needs to just go away. He needs to get off the scene. Get off your social platforms, buddy. If that's the best you got, you were all proud of yourself. You're still proud of yourself. You're probably getting all sorts of text messages. We're so proud of you. Thoughts and prayers for you. I bet they said that. We're so sorry you got investigated, questioned. It's a dictatorship. I'm sure that's what he's getting in his messages. We stand with you. We support you. We agree with you. I bet he got all that. I bet his phone just blowed up. I bet it's been blowing up all the way through. They're going, wink, wink. You know, I know we can't say it, but you know what we mean. We support you, sir. You're our hero. I could just see the left, many on the left doing something like that. I absolutely could see that. According to U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matthew Whitaker, he's confirmed that President Trump's administration plans to withdraw some troop withdrawals from Europe soon. During a security forum in Estonia, stating that the conversations will formally begin after June NATO summit in The Hague. Nothing has been determined, Whitaker said, but as soon as we do, we're going to have these conversations in the structure of NATO. He made it clear this isn't just another round of diplomatic foot dragging. It's more than 30 years of the U.S. desire to reduce troops in Europe. I applaud this. I've been saying for months, why the heck do we still have so many troops in between the Koreas? Why do we have that? And why do we have so many based in certain places around the world? Many of them, they can't figure it out. I don't have a problem with us having bases. Let's have bases somewhere that we're not caught in the middle of people's crowd. You know, let them handle their deal. They can't figure it out after now. Come on. We just can't support that. It's very expensive. And we could get caught up easily in the middle of some crowd. President Trump has said enough. This is going to happen. It's going to happen now. Of course, the previous administration was rooting for war, pushing for war, especially with Russia. Trump-era officials have increasingly called out what they see as chronic European underfunding and dependency. Yeah, it's just keep letting America handle it. Let them pay the biggest part of the bill. Let them put the troops in. If it gets bad, the Americans will take care of it. Well, it's time to quit letting them run their mouth and try to cash checks on our bank account. And I mean that in not only a monetary way, but in a resource way, specifically our sons and daughters. It's time to stop this. I'm all for us having abilities around the world. We do have capabilities. We do have places that we have strategic bases. Let's have them for America. If we need to hit something far away, let's have the capability to do it. But let's get out of the business of being in the middle of people's regional stuff. Even Europe, even NATO. NATO talking smack. They've been talking smack. Some of the NATO nations, some of which I question whether they should have ever been in NATO, they're talking the loudest. They're egging on war with Russia. And they know that we have to come to their defense, according to the article. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth minced no words earlier this year when he said declaring that stark strategic realities prevent the United States of America from being primarily focused on the security of Europe. Private discussions over the allegedly encrypted messaging app Signal, Hegseth reportedly expressed his loathing of European freeloading, a sentiment echoed by Vice President J.D. Vance. The two have become key voices pushing to restore a foreign policy rooted in American interests, not global entanglements. Hear, hear. This is what people have been saying for decades. Even those on the left have called for this previously. They blame, the warmongers on the right of keeping some of these things out there. Now watch them badmouth this. Watch them downplay. Watch them just make it horrible. They've spoken for this. It's the one thing that I've really agreed with, that we need to get out of some of this regional stuff, but it needs to be American interest. Despite the uproar of some NATO capitals, Whitaker reassured allies the U.S. isn't abandoning the alliance altogether, just recalibrating its role. I applaud this. We're going to remain in this alliance, but we're not going to have any more patience for foot dragging. God bless. Yes. The numbers behind the move are substantial. America currently maintains an estimated, check this out, 128,000 troops across Europe. My God. We got people flowing over the border. 128,000 across Europe, with Germany hosting the lion's share. Poland, who's been running their mouth for Russia. Italy, in out. Come on, they're in out. And the UK also has significant contingents. But the political winds are shifting, and rightly so. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk recently tried to tamp down fears after the U.S. quietly redeployed forces away from a major Ukrainian support hub. Still, the writing's on the wall. For decades, Washington has carried the bulk of the military burden in Europe, funding and defending nations that often lecture Americans while failing to meet even basic NATO spending obligations. Here, this is great news. With ballooning domestic priorities and border crisis back home, many Americans, especially those aligned with the nationalist, Trump-aligned right, are asking why their sons and daughters are still stationed abroad to defend countries that won't defend themselves. I'm in that crowd. You can call me that nationalistic Trump-aligned right, whatever you want to call me. I don't just call myself an American. Critics of the withdrawal, unsurprisingly, warn of a security gap that Russia could exploit. I get so sick and tired of hearing this. All of you crybabies over there get together and you spend the money and the resources to build up your military. And that's what it's all about. Build up a European force or whatever you got to do and stop that threat. I mean, how many of you are there? I mean, if you're that worried, make a stand. Don't depend on us. And yet you're running your mouth more than we do about Russia. A recent report from the Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, that's a weird, I'd probably change that. But anyway, prominent neoconservative think tank aligned with the globalist foreign policy blob, which should be taken with a grain of salt, claims Moscow could be ready to strike a NATO ally within 2 years if the U.S. pulls out too quickly. But the same report admitted that Europe would need to cough up anywhere from $190 billion to $344 billion just to cover the current American capabilities, something they've long resisted doing. Yeah, they put it right on our shoulders. We're paying for it. Whitaker also took swap with the European Union, warning against the bloc's protectionist push to shut out non-EU firms from defense procurement. Such moves, he argued, would stifle innovation, raise costs, and damage NATO's already fragile interoperability. Good for you, Pete Hegseth. Good for you, President Trump. Let's begin to draw down. I mean, it's that old expression. I mean, you can feed somebody every day, or you can teach them how to farm and work and make money or whatever, tend for themselves. You give them assistance while they need it, then you pull back and you say, okay, you got it, because we're out. This is the date we're pulling out. After all this time, we still have to have that much there. That's ridiculous. By now, they could have built up many battalions, a whole lot of equipment. They could have built walls, whatever they wanted to do. Instead, they've had their borders open, let all sort of questionable people cross their borders. All the European towns are filled with them. Rapes and violence are up, murders, everything. But they're worried about this. You got an invasion going on in your country already. Don't worry about Russia too much. Worry about what you got going on in your country. They're being destroyed from within. England is being destroyed from within. That's what's happening here if we don't get a handle on it. Thank you, U.S. Supreme Court. Not. But look at the small countries over there, the small European countries, and look what's happening to their small towns, historic old towns. It's happening every day, every single day. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, said the Vatican is not a broker in the Russia-Ukraine peace deal after offers to host the talks. He told reporters Saturday while the U.S. appreciates Pope Leo XIV, or 24th, no 14th, excuse me. I looked at my numbers wrong. Offered to host Russia-Ukraine peace talks, the Vatican is not likely to help broker a peace deal in Eastern Europe and asked if he intended to discuss the over 3-year-long war during his meeting with Italian officials. Yes, we thank the Holy See for his willingness to be involved in this process. Obviously, there are a number of countries that have offered that as well, but we think it would be, we'll talk about that, the status of the talks, the updates after yesterday, and the path forward. A top Catholic official earlier this week told negotiators they were free to use the Vatican to continue brokering a peace deal between Moscow and Kiev, saying it is an availability of place. The offer came after Russian Vladimir Putin skipped discussions in Turkey earlier this week. And so he has said he wouldn't call them a broker, but it certainly is a place I would think both sides would be comfortable coming to while honoring the Catholic Church for its efforts thus to promote peace. We are grateful for their long-standing efforts to not simply on trying to broker peace, but on the exchanges of prisoners. There are children. Now, this is the first time I've been hearing about this. Administration has not been mentioning this. This is refreshing. This is on their table. And I've been hearing this. I like this because I've been harping on it for some weeks now, months really. There are children that have currently been taken from their homes that the Ukrainians would like to see returned. And they, the Holy See, has been very involved in that regard. That would be wonderful. Thousands upon thousands of kids. Unbelievable. Speaking of the cartels, I said hit them. Hit them hard. I don't care if Mexico says it's okay or not. There's an article here. The modern cartels in Mexico supply the illicit drug market in America, but they've also shifted to new criminal schemes, diversifying into kidnapping, extortion, illegal mining, petroleum theft, and illegal, yes, oh my goodness, fishing. That might get Robert fired up, the fisherman, Robert. President Trump has moved to classify the 6 Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations early in his term. Experts often call them transnational criminal organizations because their reach has expanded into other illegal markets. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency and Treasury Department also are targeting cartels for moving black market oil and gas across the Texas-Mexico border. Cartels use other violent criminal activities to protect their drug operations and grow revenue, according to the DEA report. They also engage in money laundering, extortion, petroleum theft, theft of other natural resources, weapons trafficking, human smuggling, prostitution, and illegal wildlife trade. Hey, let's get PETA involved. The illicit profits from these peripheral activities make the cartels more resilient and increase their ability to expand, according to the DEA report. In November, the U.S. Treasury Department hit 5 members of the Gulf Cartel with sanctions over the group's illegal fishing in the Gulf of America, like that. Not that they're doing it, I like the Gulf of America name, which includes illicit trade in red snapper. I used to love fishing for red snapper off the coast of Florida. Red snapper and shark species. Oh, there's another one for Robert. For this, they use small, fast boat operations called lanches. The Gulf Cartel's illegal fishing operations are based out of Playa Baghdad, also known as Playa Costa Azul, a beach several miles south of the U.S. border. Cartels use the same fast boats to smuggle drugs and people as well. I say let's hit them. Forget sanctions. What the heck? Let's just hit them. Let's bring some of the 128,000 home, U.S. military. Let's put them in some fast boats out there, bigger fast boats. And let's just take them out. I mean, enough's enough. These people are killers and murderers, and they're killing our sons and daughters. They don't deserve arrest. They deserve to be annihilated. And I say hit the beach they're using. If Russia's not going to manage it, we'll set up a beachhead there, and we'll have operations out of it, and we'll make sure these people are not coming up. And we'll patrol up and down the coast, and we'll make sure that these people are not using the waterways for any of this. I'm tired of it. It's time to hit them. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing often involves forced labor and human rights abuses. Unregulated fishing practices further pose issues for ocean health and are one cause of global overfishing. They also contribute to the collapse or decline of fisheries that are critical to the economic growth, food systems, and ecosystems of countries worldwide. Cartels began muscling in on illegal fishing years ago and have only grown bolder, said Vonda Feldbaum Brown, a senior fellow at the dyslexia this morning. Talbot Center for Security, Strategic, and Technology in the Foreign Policy Program at Brookings. The takeover started with criminal groups targeting fishers poaching protected species. Then they started extorting and regulating fishers harvesting low-value seafood. Cartels often only allow fishers to sell solely to them. Large companies fishing high-volume value species, particularly for export, were the last to be targeted, but are increasingly under pressure too. Cartels sometimes demand that communities sell them their fish, harvested under threat of death. Other times they tell the locals what species they want and set quotas for delivery. The cartels violently punish noncompliance with those demands. That's not the only difference. Cartels sometimes only pay in illegal drugs such as methamphetamine. It's not just fishing. The cartel's reach extends to processing and sales. Next, they establish halcons, spa presence in communities and processing plants and demand that the processing plants process seafood brought in by the cartels and fake documents for it. DEA officials are targeting a Mexican transnational criminal organization recently designated as a foreign terrorist organization involved in smuggling methamphetamine, heroin, and black market oil and gas across the Texas-Mexico border. The investigation has identified multiple cartel leaders who have ties to multiple cartels in Mexico. Officials said the ongoing investigation found the criminal groups were stealing and smuggling crude oil from Pemex, Mexico's state-owned petroleum company, into the United States. The groups then sell the stolen oil to U.S. oil and gas companies as part of a sophisticated trade-based money laundering scheme. Let's get those companies in trouble as well. This could be pushing up prices at the pump for U.S. drivers. It is estimated that Mexico is losing tens of billions in tax revenue annually, while simultaneously costing U.S. oil and gas companies billions of dollars annually due to a decline in petroleum imports and exports during this same period. The focus will now shift to U.S. companies and members involved in facilitating this illicit Mexican petroleum smuggling operation. I say let's hit them. Sorry to my friends, but not sorry, who said, let's warn them. Warning time is over. No, we're not drawing another line in the sand. We're not telling the bully if you step over this line that it's on. I say we just hit them. They're terrorist organizations. Just like we hit the Houthis, we've got even more provocation from these to hit them. And if Mexico's government doesn't like it, you tell them, deal with it. We're going to hit them, then we're going to let you know. Can you deal with it? Because if not, we're going to keep dealing with it. And when you stop dealing with it, we're going to deal with it again. What are they going to do about it? They're not going to do anything. Most of them are scared anyway of the cartels. They talk out of one side of their mouth to the world, but they're shaking hands with them on the other side because they know what it means for them and their families. My God, just hit them. You know where they're at. You know what they're doing. Just hit them. Multi-group. I mean, just look at all the different ways. The destruction of ecosystems. Trading in species that are illegal to fish. Hurting and damaging overfishing. Hurting those companies that is set up as a business. Illegal activities, including drugs, illegal oil, threats of violence, rapes, murders. I mean, the list goes on and on. Human trafficking, all of it. I mean, they're a one-stop shop. Yeah, we're here. What kind of crime you need? We're covering it. We got you. We're a one-stop shop. Oh, you want some fish? Oh, we got you set up. What you want? We got it. Want some people? We got that too. Oh, somebody bothering you? They're threatening us? Oh, let's take them out. What politician gave you a hard time? Oh, we'll take care of that. All the sons and daughters dying in America? The price has already been paid. The sacrifice of our people has already occurred. These people need to be hit and hit hard. Thank you, President Trump. Bring these troops. Realign. Let's put them in the Gulf of America. Let's put them on some beachheads. Let's establish security and safety for the United States of America. And if anybody doesn't like it, too bad, including loony leftists in our nation. Let's make the stand. Let's protect our nation. This is what I've been screaming for years. You're policing the world, but you're letting your country go to hell. Let's put a stop to it. I have no need of any other declaration. It'd be the greatest day in the world if I got up tomorrow and it was announced that we hit them. We hit these cartels. I would cheer. Absolutely cheer. No use for them. They're the scum of the earth. They're hurting people on both sides. And let's just stop them the best we can. Let's hit the biggest, baddest ones and try to put the others on the run. And we'll hit them again and again and again. We got plenty to do. We'll build some more stuff. We'll resupply, and we'll just hit them and hit them and hit them until they hide like the Houthis. That's David the AM. That's what I got for you on Southern Fried MAGA. Sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. Try to do some good things. Oh, wait a minute. The Supreme Court will probably make a ruling. The Mexican cartels have rights. Can you just see it now? Oh, we can't do that. We can't. They've got rights. We're going to have to we're going to have these cases come to trial. In the meantime, yeah, they're going to fish. They're going to threaten. They're going to kill. That's where we're at, folks. Politicians will be going down meeting with the cartels in the Margarita Summit saying, we're sorry. We're sorry that some of your people were killed. We're trying to stop the dictator. We're standing with you. We've got the courts on our side. Don't worry, cartels. It's going to be okay. Doing press conferences there, back to the press down there, sending a signal back to America. We stand with these people. That's where we're at. Sick. We say America first. We mean it. Gosh, lots to do, lots to pray about, and a short time to get there. Right? Eastbound and down. We better be southbound and down and do with our southern border. Even beyond that, extending. I'm for it. Who's with me? Let's hit them cartels. We got the capability. Let's do it. Let's get them all while we can. Because the next administration might not. They might leave linked up with them. Who knows? Let's hope that we can get some of this done. And here's the scary part before I go off the air. Whose next family member is going to be who's going to be going to their funeral because of fentanyl? When are we going to make the stand? When are good men going to stand up and protect the kids? What's next? We're going to let them take the kids out of America and go south with them? When are we going to protect the children, our offspring, this United States? Because we're failing them as a nation. We're failing them. We're watching them die by the drugs. We're saying all the right things. We're saying what's caused it. But we're not doing a whole lot to stop it. And for all of these people out here that say, y'all just let drugs be legalized, completely legalized. Well, I'm sick and tired of seeing my people die. Anyway, it just angers me. Have a great afternoon. We'll be watching some of the podcasts later on, some of the great podcasters. Killer Carl will be on tonight. I'll try to tune into there. By the way, we'll have our own coffee here soon, but we do love that 55coffee.com. Use that promo code Carl15. Carl15. 15th. Join his podcast night. He usually has a Saturday night, free for all. Oh, they'll be lighting it up. I don't know if Angry Conservative is on today. He may have already been on, but tune into him. Half Pod's show was last night. Kim's probably, I think she has one replay on the weekend on Sunday. But y'all follow these folks and give them a listen. And thank you so much for following the Southern Fried Cornbread Nation. We got a lot of things in the mix. A lot of things are coming. We are super excited. We got so much work to get done. It's trying to find the time, but we're not complaining. We're overjoyed. We're giddy. We're giddy with excitement for all that's going on, and we can't wait to get more and more things done and get to where we need to be. We're working on it every day. Take care. God bless. We'll definitely see you tomorrow. Don't know that we'll hear from us the rest of the day, but we'll see you tomorrow morning for Sunday Morning in the Word. We'll go from there. And of course, Monday starts all of our shows over again. Pray that Robert gets totally well. It was pretty good last night. I know he wasn't feeling great. He put on a good face. That was a fun show last night. From the Woods. Give him a follow on Facebook. What great stuff. I'm going to have to order a bowl from them. And by the way, those were reasonable prices. Very reasonable. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.